is see who is the responsible for doing this. Now, in this particular case, if it is the SMS which is originating out of unconnected people who are neither connected to the banker, not to the merchant banker, not to the promoter, not to the management, then the individual concerned will be prosecuted if at all we can trace it. But if it is found that it was a effort from the side of bankers, company and others to do it, then it will be punishment will be given to bankers, etc. And third point is very simply that we have to see who are these people who are doing it. Because unless until you punish those people, things will not stop. And lastly, I would say the rules are very simple. You cannot do anything, you cannot say anything other than what is written in the prospectus as for the official merchant bankers or company sources. It is only the analyst who can do inference and do some, but those analysts have to be registered with the SEBI. So we do not know in the case who is the person, who are the type of people who are sending out this SMS.
Okay, all right, gentlemen, thanks a lot for stopping by and giving us your thoughts. A very peculiar case here of the Ruchi Soya FPO. Non-anchors investors have now an option to withdraw from the FPO as per the latest SEBI guideline that has come through. But let's take a quick break on that note. Sudarshan Sukhani and Prakash Gaba will join in. Expect a good start to trade today. So more on that in a bit.
Welcome back. Well, the SGX Nifty is indicating a gap up, and then of course we'll take it from there. Sudarshan Sukhani and Prakash Gaba are now joining us. Good morning, Sudarshan. The market bounced back quite a bit yesterday. Now your call has been to buy the Nifty on dips and avoid the bank Nifty. Is that the trade even now, or is there a different trade?
Good morning, Anuj. See, for the last 5-6 days, I have been saying we are in a trading range. Because the range has developed after a big rally, we assume that this is a consolidation in an ongoing uptrend. So buy on every dip. Now, those who bought yesterday, and yesterday we had a fantastic dip, should be comfortable today. You just hold on to your positions. If you do not have a position and there is a gap up which is expected, then still you should be buying on a minor dip today, because the gap up suggests that the Nifty will break out of that 17,350 resistance. So that's the breakout today. Likely. Therefore, the Nifty is a buy on dip strategy even today, despite the gap up, since it's likely to break out. The bank Nifty will also probably cross 36,600, and the chances are that's how it will open. So the bank Nifty also becomes a buying opportunity. So really today, on a breakout, both indices should be bought into with appropriate 100-point stops for the Nifty and 200 for the bank Nifty.
Okay, both indices should be bought. That's Sudarshan's view, with 100-point stop for Nifty and 200 for the bank Nifty. Prakash, good morning. How are you approaching trade today?
Good morning, Anuj. So far looks good to me. I would say that on Nifty, 17,100 is a strong support zone. So the upside is on. How much upside? Suppose if it opens the gap up and stays up for at least 15-20 minutes, shorts will come in. Short covering will happen, and perhaps we'll see maybe around 17,350 to 450 to even 500 until expiry. That is also not ruled out, because short covering will propel the market up. When I look at the bank Nifty, it looks better. There looks like good bottoming formation out there. 35,500, strong support zone. Once it crosses 36,000 and stays above for a while, I think it should go to 36,500 as well. So I have a feeling dips are viable if we get it. Only thing it should sustain after a gap up. That'll be beautiful.
All right. Well, let's talk about individual stocks then. What are we looking at today? Sudarshan, good morning. What's on your buy and sell list?
Good morning. Well, it's an all buy list today, starting with Oro Pharma. Oro Pharma had a big rally and then a 2-day decline. That's a buy on dips opportunity. Buy with a stop under 690. NMDC is a buying opportunity. The stock is now on the verge of breaking out of a very large resistance, significant resistance. That's a buy with a stop under 156. Bharti Airtel is another stock that's one of those large cap stocks that's giving a bullish pattern now, which means it's a little in the game, but that's good. Bharti is a buy. It's confirming a bullish head and shoulder. Buy with a stop under 710. And Coal India, which is also on the verge of breaking on the upside, is a buy with a stop under 185. As usual, watch the market a little and then go and buy these things.
Okay, fair point. Prakash, your stocks?
I think I'll start with Power Grid. That looks good to me. Good sideways action, and Apu was there yesterday. Stop about below 210. Possible target on the upside would be 216 on Power Grid. The second stock that I like is from the banking pack is HDFC Bank. Looks like a good place to bounce if it has to. 1420 is a stop. Upside, the first target is 1460, then maybe 1480 is possible. Looks like HDFC Bank should be up.
All right. Well, thanks a lot for that. Have a great day. We'll come back to you in a bit. Shubham Agarwal, the CEO and Head of Research at Quantsap Advisory, is also with us to help us prep for the day. Shubham, hi. Good morning. What are you looking at in terms of individual stocks today, considering it's going to be a great day for traders? That's what the SGX is suggesting.
Hi, good morning. So certainly if you look at how the Nifty has been placed for the last at least 10-12 days, if you look at the derivative data, it's a very clear formation of a long unwinding cycle, which is bullish in nature, and this consolidation that we have been witnessing where these longs have been formed looks quite matured for a breakout to happen. So with that, I have an all buy list today, the first one being a buy on NMDC, where after a very long consolidation on a medium term scale, we saw that the stock broke out, and overall this sector also has been doing quite well. So looks like that this rally should continue. A 165 strike call option for the April series can be bought for a target of 11 with a stop loss at 5. The second call is on Bharti Airtel, and Bharti Airtel has been relatively outperforming. So if we see when Nifty broke down, this holded on to the previous swing lows, and the moment we saw that Nifty started recovering, this stock is now gradually approaching its previous highs, and the breakout that happened yesterday seems to be moving towards the previous swing highs at least. So 740 strike call option for the April series can be bought for a target of 31 with a stop loss at 17. And lastly, a buy call on Oberoi Realty. Now this stock, if you see, has been forming long built up for a quite significant amount of time, and it never broke out. But yesterday, if we see, there is a minor breakout on the price which was being witnessed. So looks like that this can also have some follow buying coming in. So Oberoi Realty, we can straight away go and buy the futures for this. 990 will be the target, and we can maintain a stop loss at 920.
Okay, Shubham, thanks a lot for those trading ideas. There was some flash on the screen with sources that the government is looking at gradual pass through on fuel prices, and they don't want to shock the economy on fuel prices. Whatever that means.
I don't think we need to be shocked anymore, right? I mean, it's coming in drips and drabs.
Yeah. Anyway, let's do one thing. Let's take a break. We'll come back, of course, with the pre-opening rates. And of course, later we'll connect with Harshvardhan Dole, Vice President at IIFL, to discuss the surge in commodity prices.
Welcome back. We are just going to get the pre-opening rates in less than about 3-4 minutes, and in all likelihood it will be a strong start, although the SGX Nifty has come off from the highs. A lot of stocks in focus, so let's get our Momentumizer segment going now. Nigel is here to tell us what's on his list. Nigel, over to you.
Well, I'm tracking JSFC, that's Gujarat State Fertilizer and Chemicals. Well, yesterday's trading session, the stock made a fresh 52-week high, and if you're looking at it in this month itself, it's gained more than 20%. So it's got the momentum going with it. I was taking a look at the NSE data, both on the traded volumes. Well, that's nearly around double of what we have seen in the past 1 month or so. So yesterday, the traded volumes are nearly around 1 crore shares out on the NSE, and the delivery volumes as well was nearly double of what we have seen in the past 1 month or so. So the traded data as well looks fairly good. And finally, yes, we track the spreads for GSFC, but that's something that we don't have as of now because we wait for the management to give us that number. But otherwise, if you're looking at the holding company as well, it has a stake in a couple of companies that have done very, very well. JNFC, there's been a lot of focus out there. The stock has surged. It has a large stake out there, close to around 20%. Has a holding even in Gujarat Gas, as well as in a smaller name, that's Gujarat Alkali. Some of these companies did well yesterday, so I just thought I'll highlight this factor as well. GSFC, that's the Momentumizer from my end. Back to you.
Okay, Nigel, thanks a lot for that. By the way, that block has happened in the block deal window, so there's no leakage as far as that SBI Life deal is concerned, and it didn't even happen at a big discount, so could be a very interesting stock today, considering there would be some shorts in the system on SBI Life. There it is. Could be a very interesting move today. Dipan, any thoughts on SBI Life?
No, actually, Anuj, we are waiting for the LIC IPO, and that may certainly have an impact on a lot of the insurance weightages in various portfolios, because LIC, given its size and given its popularity, should find its way into many investor portfolios, and that will certainly reduce the kind of weightages that we may have in some of the private sector insurance companies. So I'm not all that positive on private insurance companies for the time being, although their long-term prospects are exceptional. It's just that how LIC IPO will play out, that needs to be watched, and also the pricing post listing, what the movement will be, will certainly impact the sentiment in the insurance companies, as well as the valuation that investors pay for such private insurance companies.
The stock that I wanted to ask you about was Tata Power. I know we have spoken about this in the past, but there's a lot of big investments being made in Tata Power. The latest, BlackRock and Mubadala, could be making a total of almost $700-800 million. This green energy space, is it something that you've liked for a while, and on Tata Power particularly?
Sonia, I think Tata Power is an extremely complicated company with just too many moving parts. Very difficult to analyze and value actually, because they've got distribution, they've got power generation, they've got that particular power plant in Gujarat, which is a drag on the operations, and then they've got coal trading operations as well out of Indonesia, and then the renewable business, which is operating assets as well as EPC. So there are just too many moving parts which make it difficult to track and really value. But no doubt, I think if they make the structure simpler and if they're able to raise money for the renewable business, that will certainly improve the sentiment in the stock. And anyway, it's one of the market favorites, so it may trade higher. But from a longer term perspective, I'm not so sure whether it can really create a great deal of value. And coming specifically to your question about renewables, I think it's still early stages over there. And a lot of the renewable companies need to demonstrate that they can create significant wealth going ahead, improve their capital return ratios, and also government policy being what it is, that's a big risk factor as far as renewable energy is concerned.
Okay. All right. Since we're talking about renewable energy, power costs, the big theme across the globe and in our own country has been commodity prices across the board surging. We aim to look at what this means for power players today. Key input costs like coal, gas have seen a big rise in the last few weeks, 30-40%. To discuss the future picture, we are now joined by Harshvardhan Dole, the Vice President Institutional Equities at IIFL, who joins in. Harsh, thanks a lot for joining in. ICRA put out a report where they say that the prices of coal will rise 45 to 55% in Q1 of FY23. This is on top of the rise that we've already seen. This could have a big damaging effect on the profitability of many companies. So just help us understand, if one is invested in this space, who are the end users that could get impacted the most, and which are the stocks that you'd avoid now?
Hi, good morning. See, the Indian power sector over the last decade or so has undergone a structural change. there's been a lot of consolidation, and so-called the merchant players who are exposed to the higher coal prices are no longer there in the market. And to that extent, whoever is currently generating and supplying power operate on a cost-plus basis. And to that extent, any increase in coal price, i.e. the CIL or essentially the import of coal, ideally is a pass-through in the cost-plus mechanism. And to that extent, theoretically, none of the generators are exposed to increase or decrease or volatility in the coal prices. But that's in theory. In reality, the state electricity boards don't have propensity to pay for this power. And to that extent, if coal prices actually shoot up to the extent which has been speculated, I think at a time when India is running short of thermal capacity, there will be issue in terms of receivables for several generating companies. And perhaps companies like NTPC may be insulated, but several private players will see an issue in terms of receivables. The end consumers will have to brace for significantly higher power prices if they are concerned about having reliable supply. So tough times ahead for us.
Oh, I mean, Harshvardhan, I loved the way you started, saying that, well, it's cost plus, there is no impact, nothing at all, it's all fine. But, and that is the big but. But so, is there, can we go back in history and see if there is any impact on offtake at all, or, I mean, that is, it doesn't happen?
See, the power prices per se, the power demand per se in India has been very sensitive to the underlying prices. And therefore, if prices in the spot markets shoot up drastically, there will be impact on the end demand. But as I said, 90-95% of the power is still significantly underpriced, i.e. being sold by the state electricity boards, and therefore you have this financial mess. I think the captive power producers who are concerned about reliability in terms of supplies, perhaps will have to shell more power because the input costs are more aligned to the international prices. But historically, the retail price increase has been significantly lower than the input cost inflation. And to that extent, the end consumer has always paid less than cost to serve. At least that's what history suggests.
Okay, fair point. Now, Harshvardhan, good morning. Since we have you with us, I just wanted your thoughts on Reliance as well. That's a stock which is making a big move of late. Any thoughts on what's driving this?
See, in the oil and gas space, frankly, the earnings predictability across the players is very poor. For example, the large upstream companies, their earnings are so sensitive to the underlying oil prices that if oil falls by $10, the earnings will fall by something like 30%. On the oil marketing companies, you know what's happening. They are bleeding through their nose because the pump price increase is much more calibrated than what it is required to. And therefore, on the broader spectrum, if there is any company which stands out, which has got very good earnings visibility, i.e. because of O2C integration, tariff hikes in Jio, and also the ramp up in retail, it's basically Reliance. And to that extent, after the underperformance, I think the stock is basically catching up. And in my opinion, relatively it stands out well, even among the conglomerate space.
Any thoughts on Tata Power? We were just discussing how large investments are being made into Tata Power's green energy business. Is it going to be the next big player or the big player in EV charging, in green energy? And would you be bullish on it?
So we like some of the initiatives that Tata Power is taking, i.e. Scaling up the renewable business, getting into allied services, which will ensure that their reliance on thermal power incrementally comes down. But bear in mind, these are really long-term businesses, whereby near-term cash flows and the return ratios will be significantly depressed. And to that extent, a large chunk of value creation will depend on how company decides to scale up these asset-heavy models. So while we like the approach, we are kind of evaluating several approaches that they're taking, i.e. trying to do InvIT, trying to induct strategic investors into their green subsidiary, etc. Let these events pan out, and then perhaps we'll be more constructive on the stock.
Okay.
As
Harsh,
of now, we like more traditional utilities.
got it. Harsh, thanks a lot for your time today. Good talking to you. Let's move on then. The pre-open has settled 75 points higher on the Nifty, about 220 higher on the Bank Nifty. SBI Life is your top Nifty gainer, up 3%. That's because, you know, the block has happened in the block deal window, and so there's no leakage, and of course the discount is not big. It happened actually almost pretty close to yesterday's closing price. Bharti Airtel is the other stock which is really getting into a good groove, 1% higher in pre-open, and Asian Paints is up by about 1.4%. HDFC, Kotak Bank, HDFC Bank are a couple of other stocks doing well. Sudarshan, if we open here, as you said, do you buy immediately or you wait for the dip? And what's your 9-10 call?
We have to wait for a dip and then buy the Nifty. The Bank Nifty is not crossing 36,600, so that would be avoided. NMDC is a buy with a stop under 156.
This is a buy. Sudarshan, before we let you go, just chart check on Asian Paints.
Oh, Anuj, I'm not tracking Asian Paints. I'm so sorry.
No problem. So Sudarshan,
Okay.
thanks a lot for joining us.
Okay, well, in pre-opening, the the rates have settled much higher at the moment. SBI Life, by the way, is your biggest gainer, up 3%. Nimesh was telling us about that. A couple of auto stocks are doing well, Maruti Suzuki, Tata Motors as well. Would be interesting to see what's happening with some of the big gainers yesterday, whether it was Adani Wilmar, which is still up another 3% odd, Tata Elixir, which has been moving higher, Tata Power, which is in the news for all the right reasons, Reliance Industries, which has gained quite a bit of ground. It's now at 26.40. Dipan, any thoughts on Reliance? The expectation that this quarter's numbers will be very strong, especially on the refining front. At 26.40, is the risk reward still in favorable to buy?
I think so. And from a trading perspective, because that's another company which comes out with results quite early in the season, and you could have a blowout number over there because I think it's firing on all cylinders. Retail also should do very well post lifting of lockdown, and telecom also, considering the increases in tariff rates which they have taken. All of this, I think, should fire up Reliance's earnings. But I've been consistently saying that now I think time is ripe for them to kind of split the company and provide minority shareholders and the market at large to invest in specific business verticals they are in, and also to avoid the holding company discount which will start creeping in if all the businesses are housed under one company.
Okay, by the way, that let's just extend that theme that block deal which has happened on SBI Life, where Canada Pension Fund is a seller. This is the second big sale that they're doing in the last 10 days or so, which means you want to see what else are they holding, and Nimesh has done that work for us. Nimesh, good morning, tell us.
Morning, Anuj. So as you rightly pointed out, today Canada Pension Fund sold 55 lakh shares in SBI Life. So they've raised close to 580 crores. Remember, last week they sold close to 4 crore shares in Kotak Mahindra Bank and raised close to 6,800 crores. So put together in just 1 week, Canada Pension Fund has raised close to $1 billion from Indian equities. I was looking at the other large holdings. More than 1% holding, there are only 3 names which comes up. So the biggest holding is still Kotak Mahindra Bank. They own 4% stake, valued at close to 14,800 crores. They also own close to a little over 2% stake in Indus Tower, valued at 1,200 crores, and they own 1% of Paytm, which is valued at close to 560 crores. So these are the few large holdings what they own. Now I was talking to some large sell-side analysts as well on the rationale for their selling out. Looks like it's more of a profit booking and a bit of reallocation to other regions because they're finding India to be more expensive compared to the other Asian markets. I was looking at the large Asia holding as well of Canada Pension Fund. They own a large chunk of the Chinese names as well. So they own AIG Group, they own Alibaba Group, the companies like China Gas, A&T. They also own Kotak Mahindra Bank, of course, in India, but they also own Cube Holdings, Samsung Electronics, and Tencent Holdings. So these are the large holdings that they own in Asia, but within India they only own large stake in Kotak Mahindra Bank. But as I said, they've already raised $1 billion, and the top 3 holdings are Kotak Mahindra Bank, Indus Tower, and Paytm, where they own more than 1% in India.
Nimesh, any sense on why this realignment is taking place?
So as I said, Prashant, I was talking to some sell-side analysts who serve to Canada Pension Fund, and the overall feedback seems to be more of profit booking from India. They find India to be little expensive when they compare to the Asian markets, and they are finding more opportunities outside of India at this point in time.
All right, Nimesh, thanks a lot for that. Dipan, any thoughts on SBI Life?
as I said earlier, that I would like to wait for the LIC listing, and that's going to have an impact on the valuations of the insurance sector. And being a large IPO, it will find itself as core holding in many portfolios, and therefore they may have to realign their holdings in some of the other privately listed private insurance companies. So I think just wait a while and see what is happening on the LIC IPO front, and then take a call on some of the other private insurance companies.
Dipan, is Bharti headed for new highs? Your thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. I think again a disclosure here that we and our clients are invested. I think they are an exceptionally good analyst day, and they demonstrate that there are many monetizing opportunities in the non-wireless business, and those are scaling up pretty well. And also some amount of explanation was given about their capital allocation into why they are buying stake in Indus Towers. So generally positive on Bharti at this point of time.
Dipan, thanks a lot for joining us and have a good day. We'll now focus on the market opening. By the way, the currency futures market has been very strong this morning, so that should have positive ramification for the Bank Nifty. The first rates are in. The Nifty is up 76 points. The Bank Nifty is up 200 points. 81 now on the Nifty. 17,300 is what we have. And on the Bank Nifty, we're making a move towards 36,000. SBI Life is your top gainer, up about 2.5%. But also keep an eye on Bharti Airtel. That's been one of the strongest stocks. That's also making a big move right now, 1% higher on that stock. HDFC is making a move all of a sudden, so 1% higher on that. Maruti is up about 1%. Cipla is up about 1%. HDFC Life, Tata Motors, SBI, Tech Mahindra, Ultratech Cement, IndusInd Bank, Britannia, HDFC Bank make up for the other gainers. Not too many stocks on the way down. ONGC is down about 1%. That's a direct oil play. Dr. Reddy's, which was weak yesterday as well, by the way, is down about 1%. But for now, the Nifty is holding with about 70-point gain, and the Bank Nifty is holding with about 200-point gain. Remember, 17,350 to 17,400 is where you have massive congestion on the Nifty. Just like yesterday, you saw at 17,000 Nifty take a lot of support. At higher level, 17,300, 350, 400 thereabout, you have big resistance. So it will be interesting to see the market already cooling off a little bit after opening higher. Sonia, over to you.
Okay, well, in the broader markets, actually Adani Wilmar really stands out this morning, 5% higher on that. Remember a couple of days ago, JP Morgan and BofA Securities initiated coverage on Adani Wilmar. This stock has now exceeded the target prices of both those brokerages. BofA Securities had a target price of 420, JP Morgan had a target price of 360, and the management had told us that not only have they passed on raw material costs to consumers, they're also looking at an acquisition very soon. So that's really the stock of the moment. Apart from that, SBI Life is up almost about 2%. You have Dixon Technologies, it's up 1.5%. Indigo Paints is up almost 1.5%. In fact, a lot of these crude sensitives are now, moving higher with the way crude has fallen. Not a bad opening at all. Adani Power is up about 2%. Tata Power, on the back of that impending investment from Mubadala, is up almost about 1.5%. Tata Motors is in the green as well. So good opening, decent opening for the market, you'd have to say, piling on some gains.